Hey, welcome back everyone. It is now June 10th of 2021, and ever since the very end of The Mandalorian Season 2's finale, I think it's pretty safe to say that, well, a lot of fans felt that Star Wars was saved because Jon Favreau brought back the character of Luke Skywalker in the mix, which, by the way, really was quite a surprise. It was probably the best move that Jon Favreau really did for Star Wars, and I really got to give him a lot of credit for that, of really kind of balancing the overall Star Wars franchise by Disney and Lucasfilm. So given that we're now in a phase in which Kathleen Kennedy is having a lot of trouble with the Acolyte TV series, we also have Jon and Dave working on the Book of Boba Fett, as well as both The Mandalorian Season 3 and 4 being worked on back-to-back, as well as the Ahsoka Tano show. That is just the tip of the iceberg of what is going on behind the scenes over at Lucasfilm right now. The other thing is this, is that when we take a deeper dive into what Jon Favreau is really up to when it comes to Star Wars, is that he really is going to be making tons of major retcons to the sequel trilogy movies and a lot of changes to the overall structure of the Skywalker saga. A lot of this is going to be done in what some fans like to call the Mandoverse, alright, so the Mandalorian series, the seasons if you will, and how it connects to other Star Wars TV shows. He's going to be using that as a foundation to create these new retcons in the mix. Not just that, but Favreau's also creating tons of new Star Wars lore to come into play for, of course, the new Star Wars universe moving ahead. So with that being said, of course, now we're in a phase in which Jon and Dave are moving along very well with the Book of Boba Fett that's actually getting closer to post-production. A lot of work is being done on it as we speak, so looking forward to that as well. Of course, we got the Bad Batch episodes 7 and 8 on our way as we get closer to that episode 16 finale. So, with that being said, now that Disney and Lucasfilm are primarily focused on their new universe with both Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni, it's described that creator Jon Favreau is set to make some major adjustments to the sequel trilogy movies by providing multiple retcons within the Star Wars canon for Disney. Now, it's described that as of right now, Jon Favreau has already created 2 major retcons that will be unveiled by this fall, around November or December, that is going to change how fans view segments of both their Last Jedi and the Rise of Skywalker films. Now, the first major retcon being created by Jon Favreau is that the Snoke clones hold the DNA from Luke Skywalker and the Skywalker bloodline as a whole through use of Luke Skywalker's severed hand being recovered by Emperor Palpatine. This was also hinted at in the previous comics that were actually being done by Disney. Further, it's noted that one of Palpatine's major plans with the Snoke clones was to create the perfect clone of Luke Skywalker that actually connects to Legends, that eventually failed and repeatedly did not become successful. This is said to explain as to why, in canon, is said, of course, for Snoke to have many memories of Luke Skywalker that was used for Palpatine's benefit while controlling the Snoke clone. The other retcon that Favreau is currently developing is that he and Dave Filoni, as well as other creators, and this is the more controversial one, are planning to create a major canon piece that will justify why Luke Skywalker became who he was in The Last Jedi. This major reason is said to be that Mara Jade died in the Jedi Temple destruction by Kylo Ren / Ben Solo, and that this is going to connect to the tragedy of Mara Jade Skywalker in the new Disney canon for Star Wars. Meanwhile, a young Mara Jade will be heavily explored in future Mandalorian seasons and new TV shows portrayed by Karen Gillan. So here's the thing about this, alright? The first thing I feel is just a little strange to me, but it does connect to what we previously had seen in some of the comics. I don't know if you guys have been made aware of this or have been in the loop, but in some of the newer comics, we do know that Darth Vader travels to Exegol. And on Exegol, he discovers the Snoke clones, as well as the severed hand of Luke Skywalker. Jon Favreau is taking advantage of that canon piece and basically expanding off of it. It's a very interesting thing because they are kind of really cherry-picking from Star Wars Legends. You guys may actually recall that in Star Wars Legends, there was a Luke Skywalker severed hand that eventually did create a successful clone of Luke. I believe it was spelt like Luke with 2 U's or 2 K's or something like that. Very interesting storyline. And now, fast forward to where the more controversial setting is that Mara Jade is actually being set up to have a tragedy, if you will, alright, during the events of the sequel trilogy or pre-sequel trilogy era, you know, a little before The Force Awakens, showing us the destruction of the Jedi Temple and the death of Mara Jade. A lot of this is going to be made canon. It's going to actually be transferred over into how fans view the overall sequel trilogy movies, and how this is Jon Favreau's way to justify more of why Luke was so how he was in The Last Jedi. You know, that very, like, negative, depressed, different type of Luke Skywalker that we were not really all that used to. I mean, it really came out of left field for a lot of fans by Rian Johnson. When we go ahead and examine everything related to Mara Jade, alright, Mara Jade is a beloved character in the Legends timeline, alright? A lot of fans love the Star Wars Legends books, the comics, the video games, I mean, so on and so forth. It's amazing material. The only thing that I disagree with here is that Mara Jade should not die. I don't believe that Mara Jade should necessarily be used as a tool to be killed off and to actually be used as a way to justify Luke Skywalker's behavior, but I can see where Jon Favreau is coming from. What else is he really going to do that's going to make a justification as to why Luke Skywalker is the way that he is in The Last Jedi? Granted, it may have been enough for some fans out there that, yes, Luke was down because his Jedi students were killed, his life's work was destroyed, his Jedi temple was burned down to the ground, and he lost his own nephew Ben Solo to the dark side, let alone failing his sister, and of course, you know, Han Solo in the mix. You can see all the mixed emotions there. However, a lot of fans, including myself, felt that there should have been more of an emotional impact, or more reasons as to why Luke acted the way that he did in episodes 7 and or 8. More 8, right? Episode 7 was basically the gateway to possibilities. You couldn't really read all that much off of Luke, of how he was really feeling and all. So these two major retcons in an attempt to restart the sequel trilogy by Jon Favreau, I will say that though the Snoke/Luke connection is maybe a little ridiculous to some fans, I think it is a very interesting touch to kind of add more story to what happened to Luke Skywalker's severed hand, and an attempt to make Snoke or the Snoke clones a little bit more relevant in the Star Wars universe, right? So like I've said before in the past, guys, you know, drop a comment below. Let me know about all of this in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.